$40 million, it doesn't come for free.
So is the GOP...
I'm glad we got that all cleared up. So
The AIPAC candidate Haley Stevens lost this debate so bad that people are concerned about her health. I mean, look at her. Even when she wasn't speaking, she can't help but be off-putting. And then when she did speak, she wasn't exactly saying what the voters wanted to hear. Hard to talk about working class issues when you're bought and paid for, and your opponent is bringing the receipts.
I've been busy doing the work for Michiganders. Period, full stop. Power Outage Relief Act. We're still dealing with that. Small businesses losing their revenues. We got to do supply chain security. I've got a bill for that. I am ready to go for us, Michigan, on day one.
30 seconds to wrap.
Let's talk about power outages. People sleeping in dark rooms without electricity for the fourth straight day. My opponent's taking $37,500 from DTE. Ask yourself what that buys. Our politics have been deeply and profoundly corrupted by corporate money, and I want to get money out. You want to talk about transparency? There's a group called Center Forward that happened to pay for a flight for the Congresswoman and her mother to Portugal. I want to understand what she promised them in return. You want to talk about transparency? Why are there $40 million flowing into our politics right now in support of my opponent?
Yeah. Well, and again, I have the receipts and I have the bill to stand up to the utility companies at the lower rates.
Explain the receipts.
So, yes, I've got the multiple bills.
Can I just say, someone needs to tell Haley Stevens to stop slamming her hands on the podium. It's not like she needs any more reasons for people to think that she's unhinged. This is the woman who supported Bloomberg for president, by the way, because there's nothing she likes more than suckling on the corpo thumb. That's why she's struggling to explain this mysterious trip to Portugal with her mom. She can't even hide her anger and frustration when she gets asked about it.
Representative, do you have a comment on the trip that Abdul brought up to Portugal? Can you explain that and who paid for that trip?
Yeah, look, this is very standard. Members of Congress, I was doing NATO meetings to learn about how we can better assist our partners to end the Ukraine war.
So that was paid by Center Forward and not the House office?
It's a very standard way in which members engage in critical policy.
Should it be?
You know, I've learned a lot to stand up to Putin on that. Manufacturers need. I was shaking a finger asking them why they don't have more American cars on the streets of Portugal.
WWT. You faced a lot of concern about the outside monies benefiting you in this race. Do you ever respond to that?
Well, look, I'm a transparent, accessible lawmaker with the receipts of helping real people with real problems in the job that I am running for right now.
We've seen left-wing candidates talk a lot about corruption and the oligarchy, but this strategy of specifically calling out your opponent's receipts needs to be practiced more. It's effective. And it proves that when they say electable, what they really mean is hand-chosen by corporations.
Look, if you want somebody who's electable, the last 3 polls in a row show that I'm the most electable Democrat in November. Why? Because you got to actually fight for something. It's not enough to offer people 2 options that kind of look the same on the issues that matter the most. If you're taking money from corporations, the same corporations, Democrat or Republican, how different are things really going to be? I'm offering an opportunity to actually invest in what we want to fight for healthcare that is guaranteed, for an economy that works for working people, for finally getting corporate money out of our politics.
Well, with all due respect to Abdul, I think he looks a lot like more like Mike Rogers than I do.
all right. So
the establishment loves to use these completely definitionless words like electability to trick voters into blindly trusting them. But if Maine is any proof, the establishment will always try to rat fuck the real left-wing populist every time. And when you look into the actual data, if there was ever a such thing as electable, the party of corpo cucks sure isn't it. Recent national polling by the Brennan Center for Justice shows that over 60% of voters identified campaign contributions from billionaires and corporations as the main cause of corruption. The debate over AIPAC and Israel fuels much of El-Sayed's rhetoric on money in politics, and those voters represent another key group the Michigan Democratic nominee must win back. Everyone on every side of the spectrum is tired of the corruption in our politics and government. It's gotten to the point where we are literally told to vote for the lesser of 2 evils. I would love to be able to vote for the lesser of two goods instead. What a concept. Stevens performed so atrociously that her team scrambled to get screenshots of the Who Won poll before the final results ever came in. Stevens said, "It's been an hour since we left the debate stage, and I want to say thanks to everyone who tuned in. Booyah." This was pretty much the only moment where Haley Stevens was winning this poll. She even got community noted. It says, "This image screen is severely outdated. The vote totals have changed substantially in favor of Abdul. 73 to 27%. Oh, and I'm sure if we checked it right now, it would be even worse. No one who watched that debate thought that the squinty-eyed Muppet lady was at all convincing, especially when Abdul was so good at getting on her for being maybe Congress's most corrupt representative.
All right, this is Haley Stevens. She's running for Senate.
Yeah, I know. She's running against me.
Right. Okay. So she's been in Congress since 2017. Since just 2023, she's received over $800,000 of corporate PAC money. This includes max donations from corporations like DTE Energy, as well as all these other lovely corporations.
That's astounding. Is it that easy to find all this information on her campaign site?
So that's the thing. No. When you go to her campaign website, you can go over to her policy page where there's nothing about money in politics or corruption. And weirdly enough, when you go to her endorsement page, you can't find any of the corporations bankrolling her campaign or her biggest financial sponsor, AIPAC.
I feel like the people of Michigan should know about this.
Exactly. We thought the same thing. That's why we created a better version of her website, HaleyStevens4Michigan.com, where you can see all of her corporate sponsors, including the super PACs that are bankrolling her campaign, like AIPAC Super PAC.
Wait, so you're telling me if a bunch of folks right now clicked on HaleyStevens4Michigan.com, this would start showing up above her actual campaign website on Google search results?
I didn't think of that.
Creating this site is such a stroke of genius because it immediately shows how insanely bought Stevens is. Plus, it makes it look like it's coming from her campaign. Look at these huge corporations. Home Depot, they are one of the biggest MAGA supporting businesses in the United States. Now ask yourself, why would a pro-Trump PAC like Home Depot be giving money to Haley Stevens? Let's take a look at her integrity index. Oh, an F. That's not good. She's taking significant money from corporate PACs and big corporations, and even her individual corporations seem to lean mostly to the XXL, meaning over $2,000. Now you might say, well, look at this big green bar, 69%. That's mostly still individual donations. But let's compare that to Abdul El-Sayed with 99% individual donations. And what's more, he has almost twice the percentage of her small donations, meaning under $200, aka regular people. This is what a working class candidate for a working class movement looks like. Subscribe to U.S. Democratic Socialists and join your local DSA chapter. I'm Tony Hinderman, and I'll catch you next time.